Welcome back to the Constructive Liberty Podcast. I'm super excited that you're joining me today. I want to remind you, if you have not already, last week's episode, I talked about rewiring your brain for more contentment because a lot of people are discontent with their life. And so that episode was dedicated entirely to becoming a more content person, being happier with who and where you are in life. And if you go to the show notes of that episode, I have a link there that you can click to download a contentment worksheet to help you work through the things that we talked about in the episode, all those action steps, everything that you need to help you become a more content person. So go do that. What have I got for you today? Well, I'm talking today about stress or anxiety. And I'm not someone who has ever really thought I struggled with that. I've never really had a hard time with it. And that was until yesterday. I had a pretty rough day yesterday. It just seemed like everything all at once was just come crashing down on top of me. Seemed like everything, all the projects that I have lined up, everything just seemed like it come to a head all at once and was doing its best to absolutely crush me. So I felt my breath getting short. My thoughts were racing. I found myself wandering around, not getting any work done, not being productive. I'm all of a sudden I see I'm standing there thinking about what I'm like, looking at what I'm doing, but not doing it, and realizing my thoughts are 1,000 miles away. And yeah, it was a weird, pretty rough day for me. So that's where this anxiety topic comes from. So I've got a couple of quotes for you today, and they're really cool. I love my quotes. I've got to have more than one. The first one is, some days you feel like the ocean, all happy and all, and other days you feel like you're drowning in it. Yesterday was a drowning day for me. It sure felt like. Second quote, you can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. And so that's what I've got for you today is 9 things that you can do to help calm yourself in the middle of the storm. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. 9 tips to calm an anxious mind or to help relieve stress. These are not things that I ever thought I needed until I needed them yesterday. And so then I went and did the research, and now here's what I've got for you. The first one is to stop and pay attention to your body. Okay, when you feel those feelings, though, the anxiety, the stress and everything start to rise up inside of you, like think about where it shows up. Where is the tension at? Is it in your stomach, or is it in your chest, or kind of what's going on there? There's different research out there that shows that different feelings cause different physical manifestations in different places in your body. So take time to understand where it's at. Think about what's going on. The biggest idea here is to be conscious. Okay. And make a conscious effort to breathe. Like breathe through it. Don't let your breath get short. The second thing you can do is to challenge your thoughts. You might be angry or anxious or irrational in those times, and your thoughts often go to the worst case scenarios. Okay. Like you always go to I'm going to lose everything and I'll be homeless and I'll be divorced and all of the things. Your thoughts go to the worst case scenario, but you can counter that by thinking to yourself, like, how likely is this actually to happen? Like, worst case scenario, did I die? Okay, no. All right. So what is actually going to happen? How bad could it actually be? Or is that even likely to be that bad? Challenge those thoughts to come up for yourself. Number 3 is breathe. So I mentioned yesterday my breath was getting short and I couldn't breathe right. Like I had to stop and focus on my breathing. Okay. The shallow breathing, it triggers a fight, flight, or freeze or fawn if you're following through on that. But it triggers that mechanism in your brain, like, oh no, what's happening? And you start to freak out. You start to look around and things are going bad for you, and it's not, that's not good. That's not a good place to be in. So it's a good idea to practice good breathing techniques regularly so that you're in the habit of calming your breath, slowing down your breathing, taking those deep breaths. You can do that when you need it. Number 4 is to decide on one action you can do right now. So I mentioned that I would find myself, kind of in a daze, standing there needing to be doing something but not actually doing it. And I would have to snap myself out of it and just be like, look, I probably cussed myself out a few times yesterday. I'm not going to tell you what I called myself, but it kind of worked because it kicked my butt into gear. I realized what I was doing or wasn't doing, and I had to take action. I had to take the step and do the next thing. Just do the thing. It wasn't that hard. I just had to do it. I had to decide on an action and take a step forward. All right, now we'll get into some things that you can do proactively to help calm yourself ahead of time, okay? So you don't actually get into that state. The tip number 5 is to tidy up an area that you regularly work or live. Clutter adds to the anxiety. If you've got piles of papers on your desk and, on the bookshelf behind you, I'm talking about myself here. I've got piles of paper and books and things everywhere. Those things add to the anxiety. So while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, or you're waiting on a phone call, or any of those things, sort some of that out. Most of it can probably go in the trash. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day, you're going to have a much cleaner place, a much calmer mind. Number 6, take some time to think about the things that make you anxious and make a plan of action to combat that. Just 15 minutes at the beginning of the week. What are some things that my mind worries about? What are some things that I'm focused on that bring up the anxiety and the stress in me? Think it through. Get those thoughts out of there. And then, in that scheduled time, you're like, this is a time when those thoughts will come up. I will be anxious, and that's okay. Outside of this 15 minutes, I will be in control of myself. I will not become anxious. I will not be stressed because those thoughts and feelings are reserved for that 15 minutes every week. That puts you back in the driver's seat and gives you control of your time. Number 7, make relaxation a priority. It sounds counterintuitive. I know. But when you are so stressed out, if it's not something that has to be done right now or you're going to die, like when you find yourself in the state that I was in yesterday, where suddenly I'd realize I was standing there doing nothing, sometimes you have to sit down and take a break, relax, calm yourself a little bit. Some days you're going to find that you need to sit down and just read a book or take a nap or meditate or watch a movie or something. Go for a walk, something to relax you. It calms you, goes into your body's central nervous system and kind of does a reboot. When you call tech support and they say, oh, well, did you restart it? You got to power it off and power it back on. Okay. And that's what this relaxation does. Like a quick reset does for your body. It helps calm you in the moment, but also for future times when the anxiety and stress comes up. Number 8, you need to get the right amount of sleep. Now, over the last month, I have not gotten the right amount of sleep. I don't know if you remember from previous episodes, I've had a staph infection on my hand for at least a solid month, and it has majorly affected my sleep. For 2 weeks, I hardly slept at all. Like, I got so little sleep, it was unbelievable. And since then, I've gotten more sleep, but kind of fitful sleep. I don't have the pain in my hand anymore, so it's not that's keeping me up. It's more the anxiety and the stress from falling behind at work because of the staph infection, and just the overall lack of sleep that I've been fighting has just dragged me down to a state where I have those thoughts and feelings of anxiety and stress, and it affects my sleep. It's weird how that works. Lack of sleep makes you have more lack of sleep. I don't get it. And then the ninth tip, this is an odd one. This is not something that I would ever go to, I don't think, but some people find they find it calms them down, and that's to break out the crayons and the coloring books. Yeah. Some people go to painting, some people go to building something. The idea here is to find something to relax your mind and change your focus. And many people go to coloring books. Okay, so, I mean, hey, give that a shot. Next time, if you've got kids or nieces or nephews or younger brothers and sisters, next time you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and anxious and just like life is crashing in on you, go borrow a coloring book and some crayons from them and just start coloring. Who knows? Maybe it would work for you. 3 things that you can do right now. Number 1 is to look up some breathing techniques to calm you when you're stressed. So if you practice now, you will have that breathing technique in your arsenal when you need it to handle the anxiety and the stress at a later date. Number 2 is to schedule time for rest. Regular time, okay? And that's not talking about just sleep. That's talking about actual rest. As a Christian, as somebody who believes in the Bible, as somebody who follows what the Bible teaches, we're supposed to take a day of rest every week. And I often admit I don't. I don't just calm myself and rest that day. I've always got something going on. Even if it's not work, there's something clogging up my brain space, and I don't have that rest time, that relaxation. And your mind needs that as a reset. So schedule regular time for rest. And the third thing is to declutter something. Just go clean out your desk, clean out a kitchen drawer or a desk drawer, or rearrange the clothes in your closet, or clean up the garage, or do something. Throw some of that crap away that you're not using. Okay? That will help you immensely. That's all I've got for you today on the stress, the anxiety, on helping out there. I hope some of those things help. Let me know what you've tried, or if you're going to try some of these things, let me know how they work for you. I'm really curious about how the coloring book one would go. I doubt I'll try that. I'm not one that can color inside the lines, so I'm not even going to go there. It looks like a 2-year-old would have colored it. It's not my thing, but if that's something that appeals to you, I'd love to hear how that works for you. So send me an email, ken@constructiveliberty.com. Join the Telegram chat. Let me know how these tips work, how they help you out. Love to hear back from you. Hopefully next week I will have been able to work through all this stress and anxiety, and I'll be back to my normal happy self. Not that I'm not normal and happy today. Well, I'm pretty happy, but I'm not going to try and make you think I'm normal. So I'm definitely not that. One last thing before I end the show today. I'm working on a worksheet for my 30-day challenge of listening to The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. That audio is amazing. I've probably listened to it. I started on the 1st. I believe I started August the 1st, and I've probably listened to it 15 or 20 times, more than once a day. There has been a couple days I've missed, but I've listened to it more than once a day on average. The 30-day challenge is to listen to that audio every day, to go through the steps he talks about in there. And I'm working on this worksheet. I'm hoping I will have it done by the time this podcast episode comes out. So you can go download it, go through the things, do it. You'll love it. The Strangest Secret, go listen to it. I'll drop a link to that in the show notes so that you can go listen to that. It's audio on YouTube. It's bringing you the success you want in life is the gist of what he talks about. And I've got a worksheet to go through to help you figure out all your stuff in that. Can't wait to hear what you think of that as well. And as I always say, you can do whatever you want in life, but whatever you do, do good work.